Hello.
Are we live, Sai?
Yep, we are live and the intro's done.
Big up yourself. Big up Sam. Big up everyone in the chat. Big up people who's gonna tune in later on. Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. You guys know the drill. Smash the like. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 3K. Yeah, people tuning in on our audio platforms later on as well. Don't forget to leave your comments, send us valuable feedback. You guys have been the backbone of our 3.5 year plus journey, doing what we love, and yeah, basically talking everything Madrid and breaking it down um, every match day before and after. So, without further ado, please welcome Sam. He has been with us for I think almost a year now. He has been occupied with basically contributing to our big three endeavor. It has been a resounding success, but unfortunately, due to some unforeseen circumstances, we had to kind of stop it for a bit. But we'll be picking it back up hopefully at some point throughout the season. Um, but yeah, man, Sam, talk to me. First appearance on the show. Finally, your debut is happening, but you wish it was under better circumstances.
Yeah, I'm fuming. I'm so angry. Um, I expected more. Um, I could just start picking on the manager. Big up to both of you, by the way. Thank you for having me on here. I won't be able to be here long, but I figured I'd come in and give my thoughts for about 10 minutes.
Fair play, fair play. But yeah,
Here's the thing.
mm,
First, the manager. I understand that you picked the three. We won the cup again. You picked the same lineup. And what I don't understand is why it took so long for you to make these substitutions. That's the first thing. That's the first thing I
yeah,
don't get. The second thing, what I want to know is why the fuck are you taking off Shawmeni? I understand it wasn't good, but he's our only DM. And Camavinga ain't even there. So I don't get why you're taking my man off then. Then I've got another issue. What the fuck was the team doing with the passing? It's fucking Mallorca.
yeah, it's crazy. The amount of loose balls, right,
Mohammed,
starting from
Mohammed,
Rudiger,
Eve,
Carvajal. Mm,
Mohammed, Mohammed, even Jude couldn't play a fucking ball properly. Even him.
mm, yeah,
Even him. Kylian Mbappe. Not
yeah.
only does he have a shocker, what the fuck are you doing in the corner? First of all, why is he even marking that geezer?
Mm.
That should be sure many or Bellingham's man. Full
Wasn't
stop.
it a combination of Rudiger and Mbappe? I thought Rudiger
No, no,
actually
no,
had a bit of him. Mm.
no. It wasn't. Kylian Mbappe is then just letting my man just walk away, and he's stopping there like a fucking lazy bastard. Brother, move, fucking
Yeah,
move. You're standing there like a fucking statue. And then
I
the
know,
guy
I
has
know.
and this is the thing.
At set pieces, we kind of fall asleep. This has been a
No,
recurring theme,
yeah,
but
but it's not even that. We
yeah,
kept giving away multiple set pieces,
they
and
could
I'm
have
stand,
scored three,
yeah,
four.
yeah,
You
and
know,
I'm just asking myself, guys, can you stop giving away so many fucking corners? It's
mm,
clearly not a good thing. Stop. Then you've
yeah,
got the other idiot. What's his name?
mm,
Um, you've got Vinny and Rodrigo overloading the left side with Mbappe. Can someone
yeah.
stick to the fucking right side? If you're all going to be there, well, mate, respectfully, we might as well put three fucking left forwards up there, for God's sake. It's so easy to predict. If this happens
We,
one more time, because the midfield
yeah,
has plenty of issues as well with them three doing
mm,
this at the same time. If this happens one more time, change it back to the diamond. And if it means one of them has to be on the bench and come on, I don't care. Change it back. Because I'm not going to play every single one of them three if this is what you're going to do. You can't even play a ball properly.
mm,
And if I'm the club right now, I'm looking at this and I'm going, do you know what? I might have to go and buy a Hospital type of player. Doesn't have to even have to be expensive. Just get me someone who can come in,
yeah.
who's big, tall,
Be
and
at
in
the end
these
of
moments.
crosses
Yeah,
late in the game.
yeah, because
That,
it's
that yeah, that
because
was
if Mohammed, if we're
gone.
not going to do this, we
Mm,
have to keep Jude on the pitch for the whole 90 minutes. That's the sad thing.
mm, mm. and basically just hope and pray that he can get on the end of something, right?
Yeah. It's pissing me off. The first game, and you've already pissed us off. The first game, you're already pissing us off, and now the manager's coming out saying, "Oh yeah, it's clear that it's starting to become a problem. Oh, you better fucking fix it quick, fella, because I ain't gonna be here to watch Barca or Atleti lift that league out because we brought this turtle from Paris Saint-Germain in here."
What did he say exactly? Like, what did he find as a problem? Like, I couldn't read the quotes. If someone can,
the quotes is, and I'm just gonna.
What was the question like?
I think this was just posted up here just straight away. I think it was Fabrizio posted it up. I think it was read from yeah. After the draw, he said we lacked balance. I'm not happy with the draw because we could have done much better. We needed more attitude. We can learn a lot from this game because it seems clear where we could have a problem.
Sahil, what's your go on, Sam? Go on.
That's just
he's already sending warning signs.
What's your take on it, Sahil? When you hear your manager basically coming out, first post game press conference of the season, and he's already given us a red flag.
That's just basically, in other words, saying that we're fucked. Like we couldn't have the start. It was written in the scripts for us, and possibly this could going into the next few games as well. But to me, I feel like the more we talk about balance, it makes sense. But like, even from Ancelotti's perspective, it should be more of not being good enough problem today than being like we were not organized, or maybe it was the system. It's too soon for that, I feel. I get where it's coming from, where you want to move back to the diamond and whatnot, but it's too soon to have that conversation still, because we're still into a new season with a new set of players with new positions all over the pitch. So I feel like on that end, just let him off a little bit, but with the substitutions, that's fair criticism.
Yeah. Substitutions again. We were screaming, Sam. In the group as well.
I'm looking at it. He's coming on in the 83rd fucking minute. What the fuck are you doing? Put them on in the 70th minute. What the fuck are you gonna lose?
Yeah. He kind of
he
kind of sent the players around the 82nd minute or something, but the fate, again, the fate kind of did Carlo dirty again, because it took another 4 minutes for them to finally get on the pitch, because the ball never seemed to go out of play.
Yeah. Mohammed, I'm just going to make it clear. It's 12 o'clock in the midnight. I'm just going to say my last bit for the last 2-3 minutes, and then I have to bounce. But I came on to get my quick thoughts also for you guys.
Fair enough.
I'm going to say this one more time. When we play, I think it's Real Valladolid, isn't it? At our ground. I think that's the first home game we have. Yeah.
Newly promoted, that too.
Yeah. If they put up another performance like that, not only are the fans going to lose their fucking mind, I demand that the formation change happens. I want to see now a couple of games, wins, and convincingly. If it happens like this again, change the formation straight away. And don't even think about questioning it. Just change it. Change the whole thing back to last season. Yeah? Because the thing is, Mohammed, the first game, those wankers in Catalonia have just won. And this is what you go and do. You give them the edge already.
Yeah. And they've won with such a depleted 11 as well.
Yeah, and they're not even good. They're shit. Yeah. They're crap. Yeah.
They were shocking.
If we do not do back-to-back, I'm going to lose my fucking head. If you bring
we haven't done it for 17 years. I'm kind of, feeling pessimistic.
Yeah, Mohammed, this is what I'm saying. When you bring Kylian Mbappe in, you cannot not win this league title, because then it's just embarrassing. So 100%. Listen, I am fuming, but it's only because it's the first game. I'm going to say, do you know what? Pick up the next game and then go on to do another 5-6 games, wins them, and then we can put this aside. If this happens one more time, we're going to have a problem. All of us are going to have a problem. Because trust me, we're angry and it's the first game. And you do not want to put this to us with us the whole season, because then it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And listen, I didn't come to this season seeing Mbappe in that presentation at our stadium, to lose this league title. All right? And if we just go and win a Champions League, that ain't going to be enough. I told everyone, minimum expectation is to do the fucking double again. The minimum expectation is to do the double. Right?
But let's be honest. Like I want the same, right? People were calling me delusional last season when I was kind of pushing for the double as well.
No,
I was
it ain't
like, there's no
delusional.
excuses.
No.
No, but people, realistic people, people who were questioning my rationale, they were saying,
Yeah, but
we're in a
Mohammed,
transition season.
a lot of these people don't even support our club. They don't even support Madrid, and this is my issue.
I don't know.
A lot of these people, but they don't because they say we have unrealistic expectations. No, this is the Real Madrid. Yeah, this is the Real Madrid.
100%. Yeah, that's what I keep saying as well.
And Mohammed, it doesn't matter where you can support this club. You can be from anywhere. I don't give a shit about that. But if you're gonna support this football club, then you better actually demand winning. Because I'm not gonna sit here and demand bullshit from these lot. Yeah, it's simple.
100%.
Listen,
But football is funny, Sam. Football is funny, Sam. You can't expect perfection, right? This is the first game of the season, and most of the players didn't.
I'm not asking.
Pre-season.
No, I'm not asking for perfection, but I'm asking you to put up a better performance than that. It's Mallorca. You're not playing
the record
City.
Against Mallorca away in the last 4 seasons, we have only won twice, and one of them was a scrappy 1-0 win.
Stop. But it is what it is. Mohammed, I've got
Pick
to
up
shoot.
yourself.
Sahid,
have a good night.
Good night. I'll chat to you
See you
more
next time.
later.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
In a bit, bro. Much love.
Mashallah.
Right. You heard the man's side. He doesn't hold back.
We can stop recording right here, and that would do it. Honestly,
that would perfectly encapsulate what we went through, right, for the 90 minutes. But a bit more optimism sprinkled in, because I don't want to make this a hate campaign already, right? We were never about the hate campaign. I was the one who used to get the most crazy sometimes when things go south. But yet again, we did see some promising signs in the first half. There was some sublime football on display as well.
Much better than we did against, say, Atalanta, and
that
was, again, you want to start off with a statement of a performance, and that felt like, okay, we're getting somewhere with Mbappe. He was actually running behind the lines today, and Vinicius was actually taking on 1v1s with that same enthusiasm as he did in the first few seasons. That wasn't really visible against Atalanta. And he was very sticking out to the left hand side. That was different. I believe that was something in particular that Ancelotti wanted from him. It was, again, occupying those half spaces a lot more. So those were early positive signs, and you see Jude continuing picking up right where he left off in the previous game, and I thought that was enough to say, okay, we're going to continue in the second half and hopefully get a 2-0 win. That was easy. But enough said, man. Second half was just embarrassing. You can't not try against a team like Mallorca. They're not going to finish top 10 at the end of the season, and you can't not try against them. We just felt like you were not trying enough.
That's the most bewildering aspect of today's proceedings, because the first half there was some enthusiasm. The body language was right. What we were trying to do on the pitch looked positive. People were in harmony, right? But as soon as Mallorca scored their goal, and even a bit before that, even towards the end of the first half, there were warning signs. That Thibaut spilling that low shot. I mean, that's his kryptonite. When we see Thibaut kind of stooping that low to kind of collect a low ball, he fumbles it 9 times out of 10. That's not the first time I've seen it. I'm pretty sure that's not the first time you have seen it either.
And I felt like that would have gone in. And another day that would have gone in, and that would have been 1-1 right
there. Muriki's touch completely left Thibaut in no man's land. Like he was he was just praying and hoping it just goes wide. It went, thankfully for us. But you see all that, and in complete contrast, in the second half, everything from people who came on, people who remained on the pitch. Vinicius, my goodness, I was trying to back him up in the live chat. One of the boys, they were going berserk. They were saying that this is typical Vinny. He does this 9 times out of 10. He has one moment of brilliance, and then he goes for the jugular, hoping it to come off again and again. And I was trying to kind of back him by saying, when we won the double last season, you weren't complaining. When the stakes are higher, he's a bit more efficient. I get all that, but
That is true with him.
Yeah, but tonight's game, like, we couldn't afford to drop points, especially when Barcelona picked them up in pretty dire circumstances. I watched their game. They started a double pivot of a combined age of 33, 34. Like that was a feat in itself. Away at the Mestalla, they managed to do the job, right?
And that was a
Mallorca,
statement in itself.
yeah, 100%.
We should have aimed to do. Now, coming away from it, again, let's absorb our thoughts, and beyond this, there's no point really talking about it. But as far as Vinicius is concerned, it is true that he does shadow away in these small kind of games too often, more often than Ancelotti would like. Let's cut him some slack for some time, but I think eventually the goals will come with him. And because I'll tell you what, a lot of the time in the second half, especially, the issue was not that we were out of shape or that there were too many players on the pitch. The issue was that our final third decision making, our passes in the final third, was just not efficient enough.
People just trying to flick the ball over, like hoping that someone tries to get on the end of it, like Luka Modric comes on.
It isn't even Mallorca few seasons where they're just going 4-4-2 and we're going to sit back and we're going to hope that Madrid, again, obviously once they've equalized, they're going to play like that. But that was more bold and that was very unlike what Mallorca have always played against under Arrasate. So we don't have an excuse on that end. We can't say that, okay, this team completely.
This is Arrasate's first game, Sahil, by the way. He's a new coach.
Yeah, sorry, he was at Osasuna and
Osasuna, yeah.
It was very unlike his Osasuna teams. So we can't even say that we were facing up against a team that completely blocked us out, because they were quite brave on the counter-attack. And they just
Mojica. Oh my goodness. I've been a huge fan of his for the past few years. He has been at Villarreal as well.
And Asano as well.
Asano, is a very good prospect. Japanese, right? Japanese.
Yeah.
So Mojica was basically running the entire left-hand side, basically winning balls back, doing a number on Fede, Rodrigo Carvajal.
Again, he tested Carvajal a lot of times.
Carvajal's passing. I mean, so many of the senior players, their passing boots were completely missing. It's very unlikely for us, watching Rudiger trying a 5-yard pass, getting intercepted. Like, I don't understand. The key cogs behind that sham tonight, because when you look on paper, once we scored the first goal, we were supposed to blow them away. But what that did to Mallorca was it just gave them that extra something to basically, and the crowd didn't help. The crowd was up for it. The crowd just
they were
smelled
basically
blood.
playing in that second half. They were playing as if there was nothing to lose, because that goal gave them license to come ahead and play at us.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to turn the situation on their heads, where once they started attacking, we were going to attack right back at them. So we didn't counter well enough, and they take advantage of that.
100%.
Do you let that pass? Do you let that pass just because it was the first game of the season, or?
Wait. See, that's the thing, right? Early games are very hard to judge. We definitely did better in a much tougher circumstance, last season. No Benzema, no focal point. Jude Bellingham basically being tested out as a false nine. Him scoring on his debut. San Mamés away. I mean, there is not a better setting than that, right? And we came away with some sort of belief. Compared to now, a year on, with the added firepower in our arsenal, we just can't afford to give performances like this. This. I mean, like, this is hyperbole when people say, I'm not gonna not gonna stand this mediocre, middling performance, first match day of the season. I completely get their grievances, because it comes from a place where you look at the team, it has bolstered itself. Yes, we have lost Cruz, but can you completely put it down to Cruz? We have had games with Cruz similar to this all throughout last season, where one moment of brilliance has seen us
And
through,
we've come
right?
away with wins.
Yeah, yeah. So, what I would like, this is Carlo Ball, right? Like if Farooq was here, he would be saying, "Yeah, I told you so, bro. This is what he brings, right?" I'm completely behind it, right? As long as that one moment of brilliance, or the creative freedom he allows his set of players comes to fruition, and we get the 3 points under the bag, right? Then I can defend him against scavengers like Farooq, although Farooq was highly appreciative of what Carlo did last season. But you get
Regardless of
my
that,
drift. Yeah.
I get it, but regardless
Hmm.
of that, I get that we didn't get the 3 points and whatnot yet.
Hmm.
But regardless of that, you have to consider the manner in which we didn't get those 3 points, because that
Yeah.
is disappointing.
Absolutely.
The way in
Absolutely.
which we concede from the set piece, right?
Hmm.
The way in
Yeah.
which we let Mallorca back into the game.
Yeah.
The way in which say Filamendi gets the red card towards the
Oh
end of
my
it.
goodness. Oh my.
So
We'll get into the
that
red
is
card.
just
Yeah.
that is just saying that okay, we were not up to it.
Hmm.
Right? It's one thing to draw a game where we've completely dominated and the opposition goes and scores that's a different story.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this was not that. So it's really hard to defend what
Would
Carlo
you
has.
like? Yeah, 100%. That's why I would kind of agree with you that you can't let this slide. Like as quickly as just claiming that players didn't have a good enough preseason. We are still in a kind of trying to incorporate a new midfield into this setup and whatnot. But Sahil, my question is, would you call this a Mallorca masterclass in defending?
I would call this a Mallorca masterclass in balance. Because
In
this was not just
survival?
defending. Yeah,
Oh,
and this was not just defending. Yeah, towards the last 20 minutes, all they did was defend. The odd chance they would run behind our
mm,
defense, and that was the odd chance. Apart from that, yeah, they're used to these teams that usually don't finish in the top 10. I tell
yeah,
you what, defending. So playing in that compact block and being shut down for maybe even an hour, they could have done it.
mm,
You
yeah,
wouldn't put it past them, right?
yeah,
So maybe even playing as a compact block, they're better than some of those teams in the top 5, top 6. Say Sevilla,
yeah,
Betis. They don't
yeah,
defend as well, but
yeah.
these have that survival mentality. So they're going to do it multiple times over and over again. Have to do it the same thing.
Mm. I mean, despite having a
In a
very
team like Mallorca, yeah.
disciplined shape, Sanchez, he could have scored two. He could have scored a brace, and they would have walked
And
home
they
with a
could have
3-1
come
win.
away with a comfortable win. Yeah, that would have been even worse.
That would have been the end of it. Honestly, people would have been just
Carlo out at that point.
yeah, like
Some of our fans would have been Carlo out, I'm sure. Not me.
yeah, not me
But
either. But it's just the worst way to start a season, man. No matter what the circumstances are. Let me quickly look at a few of the
sure.
comments. Let me just bring it up.
Sure, they're not best pleased, our fans.
Right, I can't load this shit. Right, Ashik was saying, big up Ashik, he was mentioning it's a marathon after all, and I don't recall a marathon winner sprinting at the beginning to win the race. You keep up at the initial stage and then go for the kill at the end. Sahil, thoughts? Quickly.
It sounds good, but
Yeah.
it just feels like in context of this example, it just feels like today's performance feels like we didn't start at all.
Yeah.
Like the gunshot went off and we didn't start running at all.
Mm.
And that is unusual.
Oh, yeah. Very, very unusual like us. Very unlike us because we are very renowned for how we kind of basically manage games, and tonight was a very bad example of like how
Disaster.
to basically how to basically see a game out. I can't explain the collective collapse, right? Like if a couple of players are having a bad game, we could say, yeah, like it's the first game of the season, it's whatever. But it's almost like the Atlanta Super Cup game was of a lesser intensity, and people were like, yeah, I mean, this is the pace that we can approach the next game with, only to be thrown into a cauldron that is Mallorca,
Mallorca.
right? I mean, yeah, not very. I mean, not very easy, basically, because the record speaks for itself. Last 4 seasons, we have only picked up wins twice, and we have lost there twice as well. Marcus, big up Marcus, he was mentioning Ferry and Chouameni, double pivot really sucks. They were only good defensively, but offensively, not so much.
This is where some of our fans say they miss Kamavinga, because the mobility he brings in that second half beyond the 60th minute is something we always need.
Sahil, it's his ball progression, right? Not just with his passing, but he just drives with the ball. He's fearless.
Most definitely. And it's just not just Kamavinga. I know we're going to miss Kamavinga for the next couple months, but even in tonight's game, you felt like you could have thrown somebody like Joselu in there and just expected him to bring a goal out of nowhere, which none of our players on the pitch really seem to want. And a striker off the bench like that brings, the hunger that you need at the end of these games. And so Sam was right. You might even consider by going back into the transfer market and getting a striker like that. This is one of the reasons I was upset when Joselu left, because
I was as well. We needed a plan B. People are saying, "Oh, we have Endrick, we have Mbappe." Come on, man! Like Endrick is what, 5'9", right? He can't even play as a lone forward, even if he is like. How much do we expect him to grow, Sahid? Like, I'm not a genes expert, right? Like, how much would he grow when he hits 23?
And even apart from his stature and whatnot, you need somebody experienced to play as a backup striker. He doesn't, again, Joselu just had that aura to him. He came on in the Champions League semi-final and he got us 2 goals out of nowhere. Enrique isn't going to get us that, right?
Who knows? You might just bite you might just bite your tongue right now, Sahil, because
that's me, because he isn't getting that chance. It's not.
You never know. You never know. This is a long.
He isn't getting that chance anytime soon.
I wouldn't put it past him.
He's not getting that chance.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Can we bet on it, Sahil?
I don't think he's getting. If he does have it in him, he's not getting that chance. No way. But I was glad Arda Güler came on at least.
He came on for inconsequential minutes. Like I don't get the thought process.
And that's the thing with him. Even if it is an inconsequential number of minutes, he does manage to do something that sparks, that like catches your eye. And a few touches here and there. Best thing.
But quickly, Sahil, if you could
last few minutes.
But quickly, Sahil, if you could just put it into like a couple of sentences, what went wrong with the midfield? Right, we saw that it was kind of taking its time with kind of linking up and getting the feel of the game in the first half against Atlanta. Right, we saw more of the same, but in the second half it was completely disjointed. Is it just the players? But is it just the players kind of trying to like basically get the system into their heads? Early days.
What went wrong?
Alpha phase
in the midfield tonight, Atlanta for a brief period of time. Was that each of those 2 or 3 midfielders now is trying to replace Toni Kroos, and that brings them out of the set of responsibilities that they usually have. Like Valverde is, sometimes you just can see it. He's trying too hard to fit into the role that Kroos had. And it's not always, but like small phases during the game. Where we're just trying to control the tempo of the game. And it's not, those guys aren't as good as they are and as complete as Valverde is a player. He's not Kroos when it comes to, so I feel like
but Sahil, in Fede's in Fede's argument, like I would say that he has been accustomed to actually playing balls out from the back, collecting the ball
It
deep
isn't
and
just
trying
about
to
that.
kind of.
You
Okay,
have three
okay,
players trying to do something or the other that's outside of the game. Like even Bellingham now
fair
is playing
enough,
out of
fair
position,
enough,
right? As
fair
well
enough.
as he is playing, he's still playing out of position, and that doesn't seem right. It will
How is
take
Jude out of
some
position? This
time.
was supposed to be his,
True, but
where
as
he's
compared with
most.
context to last season, with context to last season, he's still playing out of position. And Chouameni, I don't think he improved much upon. Like Sam said, you can't take your defensive midfielder off, but he didn't really improve much after that Atletico performance.
I was kind of, a bit happy with his first half. Like he was winning a couple of
Yeah,
decent 50-50
half is
challenges.
true, but in the second half again, non-existent.
Mm. I don't know, man. The midfield equation, I think requires a lot more,
It'll take time, definitely.
yeah, a lot more.
In between, somewhere in the somewhere in the first half, you could even see Rodrigo dropping into the midfield, right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I'm just trying to bring up my fucking YouTube comments. Right. Dovenis, Banquet is long time. Dovenis, pick up yourself. You was mentioning, hey, Sunit, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well, too, mate. Good to see you again. Joshua George, I hope the smileys are coming from Catalonia, and I hope you're still smiling end of the season. Yeah. RMCF Hassan, big up Hassan. He was mentioning what a disgusting game. Yeah, 100%. Ashik was mentioning next game we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Hassan also says Chouameni had a much better game compared to the Atalanta performance. Yeah, the first half was promising, but I think
First half was good, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I do have it somewhere, yeah, slightly more comfortable on the ball. That's what I've written for him under his name.
But when all the your fellow members of your battalion keeps getting pelted, I think there's nowhere to hide, and he was
What do
pulled
you
off
think?
rightly
Is it
so.
an individual problem or is it a combination of the midfield?
See, the midfield. Let's be honest. What we have come accustomed to, what we have accustomed to, see from this Madrid midfield, or its various iterations over the years, are three guys with completely different set of skill sets that can complement each other, right? But can you sit here right now, although these guys are on a different trajectory compared to the KCM, or the Xabi Alonso's, or the Khediras, or the Ozils we have seen throughout the years? These guys are on a different trajectory, right? Like they are still developing, they are much more inexperienced, but they're a lot more workman-like. Fede,
That
Chouameni,
is true.
Camavinga,
And
even
Bellingham
right?
now.
Bellingham also, but Bellingham is the epitome,
Yeah,
of
it's just that this is the first
workhorse.
time we're seeing him play
Mm.
that way at Madrid. So with
Yeah,
context to last season, yeah.
something a bit more silkier. Fabian Ruiz would give you that spark. Who knows, right? He has been linked with us for a few years, but we never
4 or
kind
5,
of
yeah.
solidified our interest. But you get what I mean, right? There is talent there, but there is no one that can basically unlock your defense. Yeah, Jude can do it occasionally, but you won't expect like 5 out of his 6 passes in a particular phase to be ones that would completely pave away a high XG chance. I think that is what it is with this midfield. It needs a bit more time.
But
Maybe
then switching to
Kamavinga
the
is the
diamond
answer.
would solve that, right? Playing Bellingham
Switching to the
again in the
diamond, 100%. But then again, who is gonna be the deep lying
who do you
playmaker?
bench?
Bench is also an issue, but who will be the deep lying Cruz, right? Who gives us the diagonals? Who's gonna do it?
But now I would assume it would be
Hmm.
Chouameni.
Sure, many, yeah.
And he's capable of that because we've seen him play that way for France. It's just that every time he's played in that double pivot with Cruz, he
Yeah.
hasn't had to take up the responsibilities that Cruz had to. So certainly he's capable of that. We'll see more of Chouameni in that role.
Mm.
Did you feel like Rodrigo was better today. He was running around a lot more, definitely.
100%. I mean, we
I'm
didn't talk
so glad
about
that
the
he
goal.
finally scored. Yeah, he finally scored. I'm so glad for that because
I
don't think he
was
scored.
screaming in the chat
He
on the
hasn't
watch along,
scored since April. He hasn't put the ball.
That's a
So
mad stat. Let's not focus
yeah.
on that. Let's focus on the finish. Very typical of Rodrigo. When
Oh yeah,
he nails
sublime.
it, you
And the
get
build
those
up.
kind of finishes. Oh yeah,
And the
the
build
build
up.
up. The less we talk
All of
about the
our
build
four
up, the better.
all of our 4-star attackers. I mean, I would count Bellingham as an attacker after last season.
Yeah,
All of them were involved in that. So that was great to
brilliant
watch.
back heel by Vini as well. Jude to Mbappe,
Oh yeah.
Mbappe to Jude, back to Mbappe again, and then Vini goes in on the act, and yeah, the finish
True.
basically gave us that lift, right? That was the big moment, just like last
And then
season.
for 10 minutes we were playing sublime champagne football.
100%. We were carving them apart. But yeah, this is why people tune in, pay all their hard-earned money to watch football, right? Because I mean, it can humble you in ways that you haven't learned yet,
True.
right? That's why football is probably the best sport on the planet.
Right.
But yeah, again, happy for Rodrigo, man. Super happy.
Yeah.
I'm his biggest fanboy over here. Few more of the comments. Hassan was mentioning what do you want to see if what we did at the back end of last season when Rodrigo would play left wing and Vinny would be higher up as a left forward and they would interchange. But with Vinny and Mbappe and Rodrigo occupies with the left and central at times. Basically, I think
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
he's mentioning, I think, what we kind of did against City, right?
City. Right.
Yeah, in the
Where
first leg.
Vinicius played as a left striker.
Yeah, it works, but
But in
let's
the
be
odd game, you
honest.
can't have that as your default. I wouldn't mind that, but you can't have that as your default. You can't go into
100%.
every game with
And
that.
then Sahil, like if you deep it, like against teams that would sit as deep as Mallorca, how much
You can't.
much will
You're
it
not
bear
going to give the ball to Mallorca and say, okay, come on, play in front of us. And we
Yeah.
will counterattack you. You can't do that.
So that's the thing. I mean, the only way I'll tell you, this is see, I'm not the biggest tactical on you, Sahil. Like
Mhm.
I've been very vocal about mentioning that I'm very much an eye test guy, right? Like I'm a
Yeah.
layman, right? I'm no Don Carlo.
Helps to be, yeah.
Yeah. But let me tell you something, Sahil. In my humble opinion, the only way to kind of effectively break low blocks is the midfield to be a lot more proactive. The midfield to have late runners, always making the center backs and the wing backs pinned, and making them second guess as to who is gonna basically be that sneaky dagger, if you know what I mean. Like,
And
does
you're
it
right.
make sense?
And you're right. It
Mm.
does make sense.
Mm.
Which is why we dearly like Kamavinga. And we're gonna say that multiple times over the course of the next 2 months. But it is what it is, man.
Fair enough. A few more of the comments quickly.
Did you notice?
Go
I
on.
don't know that there was this one moment in the first half where
Yeah.
the referee went over to Vinicius and he
Mm.
was like, he was going to. I think Vinicius had a foul on his leg, and that wasn't given as a red card. So
Yeah.
the referee went over to Vinicius to explain,
Mm.
and in response to that, Vinicius was like, "I'm not going to speak to you. You can go speak to my captain."
Right.
Like you
Right.
could
Right.
make
Right.
out,
Right.
you could make out from his action.
Right. I didn't tune into the nuances, but I remember the incident. I mean, it
Yeah.
looked pretty fucking bad. It was a clear stamp on his calf, right? It was on his calf.
Yeah, no intention of playing ball. No.
Yeah. If it was us, you can expect the outcry.
And you saw that Mendy got sent
Yeah.
off, and he did not. Yeah, he was not protesting for it.
Right. Big up FT. Nice to see again, bro. He was mentioning Carlo bought the subs too late. Modric was wasteful. Honest to God, Modric,
And he would
man.
be right.
Like I expect a lot more. You're the guy who is supposed to be giving us that spark. You're the guy who can basically. Carlo sent him on so early, seeing that the control of the game was completely in Mallorca's hands. Who would have thought coming into the game, you go into the stadium, right? Yeah, like, and on your fucking ticket it says Mallorca against Madrid, and who in their right minds, unless you're completely delusional, think that Mallorca would have
as many
major
shots
control
as
of the
us.
game. Yeah,
And as many shots as us.
and our XG, they had better XG than us. Just deep that we had
Yeah,
0.63 XG.
Yeah, I don't even have to look at the actual XG to tell you that they had better XG.
Yeah, it's shocking. Modric again, some of the shots from deep. Like, I know the ball is setting up for you. It is a good angle. Like, I would probably take that shot in pro clubs, right? I am an expert at it. Like, I could maybe bury the ball 3 out of 5 times, maybe. But you're Modric, man. Come on, you can't get it right in such a.
And they had 2 turnovers in the space of a couple minutes. Mallorca had 2 turnovers solely,
and we couldn't capitalize. We were just pedestrian, super pedestrian. Yeah. True. I don't understand. I mean, that's the biggest takeaway, right? That's the biggest, shocking thing from tonight's game, that so many of the senior, the grey heads, they completely lost their composure in key moments. I just don't understand. It's a collective collapse. Right, Modric was wasteful. At the moment he came on, I remember he gave away the ball 3 times. There you go, which could have led them to score against us.
2 times in the space of 2 minutes where Mallorca got the ball in their own half.
I remember Carvajal as well, when he gave away the ball twice down the right.
True.
Back to back. If the moment he was also mentioning Vinny, Mbappe and Rodrigo occupying the left side, Carlos should have bought Brahim or Arda out of Modric. I don't know. I thought bringing on Modric at that moment.
That made sense, especially with a stacked bench like that. He make substitutions early, but yeah, Modric made sense. It was all right.
Yeah, I was thinking, we're gonna have
it's just a bit that more. He didn't play well enough. So we're
100%.
sitting here saying he didn't play well enough, that didn't work out, But being in Carlos' shoes in the 68th minute, you do want to send someone like Modric off. Because more times than not, he is the solution to your problem.
And he had a very decent preseason. Sorry.
And with Cruz gone now, I would expect that he would at least have a few more minutes than he played last season.
Yeah,
especially
100%,
with Camavinga injured now.
Yeah. Right. FT was also saying that Prick Maffeo should have been sent off, not penalizing players like him. La Liga basically encourages players to play that sort of football. Yeah, Maffeo is a renowned prick. We need basically need any reminding. So Vinicius was mentioning just like Carlo molded Vinny to change and become a player. He'll also do it with Mbappe. He'll need to change Mbappe's style a bit as well. We knew this. Mbappe isn't a prototype of a center forward who can basically, like we discussed, play with his back against the goal, have that guy play, basically having to play as a focal point. It's not going to be as cut and dry as people expect it to be, but the dynamism, we saw that on many occasions, right? Even against Atalanta, that this front three, when it clicks, like it can be a scary proposition for
very lethal.
Yeah, a lot of opponents. Ricardo, big up Ricardo. Nice to see again, man. He was mentioning we need Gola in midfield. He has the creativity and the assertiveness that the likes of Fede and Chouameni lack. Our current midfield is too similar. How does Carlo not see this? I don't know. Sahil, we talked about this maybe 10 minutes ago.
Where do you fit him in? If not as a substitute, where do you fit him in? And I'm assuming that if he's asking for Kohler, he's asking him for Kohler in the starting lineup.
Yeah, he was specifically mentioning we need Kohler in midfield. So who would you drop? Sahil is the question. Chouameni, Fede, Jude. Jude, no negotiable. Fede, no negotiable.
Chouameni. So Chouameni is the only one left because he's still And again, if you take out Tchouaméni, who's going to play defensive midfield? So you can't take out your defensive midfielders. I'm just saying
Fede can do a job. He has done it. He has done it in a double pivot. He has sometimes
but
been
not for
deployed
90 minutes
as a
against.
lone. Against top opposition. But hear me outside, right? If we kind of like how we saw with Jude, he had no experience being up top all on his own, right? But then as the games went on, as the months kind of went by, he tried to fit in and try to adapt, and basically we saw what we saw last season. What if we drop Tchouaméni now? See, Tchouaméni fanboys would go mad, right? Like we have a brilliant stat. I think it still stands. Like we haven't lost with Tchouaméni starting in La Liga for God knows how long, right? He is a very integral part of our setup.
Our setup,
but Tchouaméni being dropped, right, and Fede being asked to be the best of the three, right? Goaler and Bellingham in midfield. Bellingham with a lot more defensive work rate to kind of balance what Goaler gives us would be the answer. But who would be brave enough to deploy that?
Not even Carlo, I don't think. But it takes away a lot from what many would consider Valverde's best abilities.
100%.
His skill set is not, even if he does adapt to play that way, his skill set is not to play as a defensive midfielder, because it's
he has a lot more to give.
Absurd in the sense that I remember when we played Kammerwing as a left back, he was fine, but that is not his game, right? It's the same conversation. You can have it for one game or 2 games, but he is not going to be playing as a defensive midfielder all season long. So I still see it as an absurd thought. If you want to fit Guler in, you have to take Valverde or Bellingham out of the team, or Rodrigo possibly, and go back.
Keep Rodrigo's name out of your mouth, Sahil. But I'm not gonna
have happening anytime soon, right? Because again, Rodrigo is scoring now.
Yeah, hopefully, inshallah.
I would hope he continues. Exactly.
Fingers crossed. Moon 2002, big up yourself. He was mentioning Vinny, Mbappe, Rodrigo, Jude, all on the left side, nobody on the right side. I mean, during certain phases they were kind of left heavy, but Rodrigo came to the right on many occasions. Mbappe was there kind of maybe just as a placeholder. He was also transitioning towards the right as well. So I guess
Mbappe was more active in the half spaces, while Vinny, he stuck to the sideline today. And specifically about this left-hand situation, I don't have an issue with it, because down the years we've had the same situation. We've had the same conversation over and over again. Even at a time when we had somebody like Marcelo going up and down the left wing. We don't even have that Marcelo kind of left back today. We have Mendy, who's basically just, you could call him a one-dimensional fullback, right? We don't have it. So it never hurts to have an additional set of maybe 2 players, even Rodrigo joining in.
Weapons. Yeah. Since you mentioned Mendy, I think we should address the red card, right? I mentioned it in the group chat. I don't know if you saw Sahil. That tackle is, if I was in Mendy's body, if I was Professor Xavier, Professor X, right? For today, and I took control of Mendy's body, I would kind of understand that he embodied the frustration and the hopelessness of our side tonight, because there isn't any other rational explanation that he lunges in for a tackle like that, basically like 5 seconds away from full time.
And now we have possibly Fran Garcia against Valladolid.
He should be decent. He should be decent. Like I don't think he'll be such a big.
Even at him, I feel like sometimes.
I know. Especially defensively, he can be shocking. But then again, man, it just sets a bad bad precursor for what's to follow. Because Fran Garcia has to kind of take that mantle for the next 3 games. I'm not sure who is up against us after Valladolid. I think it's Las Palmas.
And remember, we don't have Nacho anymore. We don't have Nacho who could have played anywhere across the back line.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I know.
since we are on it, I need to kind of give a bit of flowers to Rudiger and Militao, because I thought even when stuff weren't really going to script, they kind of tried to fend off Mallorca's attempts to basically penetrate us, but some of the passing out of the back was shocking. Like we touched upon it, Rudiger, even Militao, a couple of occasions were sketchy. But
Militao's
I
always
personally
like that.
thought, yeah.
Militao's never been good on the ball.
But I personally thought like they did what they could defensively. Like
Yeah, it's a rare thing to say that with Militao and Rudiger starting together.
Were
They
you
would
happy
always
with
come
their
away from the game.
overall
Yeah.
performance?
I wouldn't say happy because again we didn't win, but
Yeah.
as far as the
Yeah.
defense is concerned, that's fine. I mean, they're two very similar kinds of defenders, and I know I said this on the previous one, but
Yeah.
it's always going to be complicated with them. But I hope this works out till the time Alaba's back at least. And I do not want to see Chouameni play defense for some time, unless we
It'll
really,
happen
really have to.
if you like it or not. It's going
Yeah.
to happen. That's what the signs are looking like.
Yeah, then again, we don't have an option.
Marcus was mentioning Rodrigo needs to be sacrificed to the bench and start Arda Güler. If not, Carlo would be sacked before December. Holy shit.
You can't sacrifice our goal scorer. You can't say that right after he scored our goal.
I don't understand the hate, right? It's the easiest guy to scapegoat. They just go after him. Like I just wish people put some respect on Rodrigo. The amount of work he does off the ball, man. Come on, like you guys have to wake up and smell the coffee. Arda Güler, there is levels to go. Yes, he's
as
so
good
promising.
As he is. Yes.
Yeah, he's so promising. He just lifts you just by his mere presence. Like it's not every day you say that say that about an 18-year-old, right? Like, but he still needs to go through the gears, go through the hierarchy and earn his place. Right? There's a lot of time. Like he's super
Absolutely.
young. Part of Musashi, big up Mus. He was mentioning, big up the boys. Don't worry, lads. Hasta el final. Hasta el final. Mus, I hope last season's template is there. We all got to see it. We all got to experience it. I hope it repeats itself.
Yeah, definitely. Once
MCFC edits.
Once we go on that run, we click, everything clicks, and then we become unstoppable. We're just waiting for that to happen.
100%. Like if you remember, the mood was a lot more gloomier when we lost 3-1 to Atleti, right? Three very sus goals of crosses and whatnot. Griezmann scoring off a header. I mean, who would have thought, right? So we climbed out of that hole. So I don't think it is as deep as a hole it is, but I don't get why the feeling is kind of similar.
2018,
like, is it?
I get that.
Yeah, 18-19. I was a bit ranty with that statement, but
under a different context, no, because that season we were bound to fail with Ronaldo leaving. And leaving, we were bound to fail. This season it feels like there's nothing that can stop us from succeeding. Like technically, there should be nothing that should keep us from winning everything there is. So I think the context is different. Feeling is similar.
I might have been a bit out over the top when comparing to 18-19. I mean, 18-19 it's bottom of the barrel. It's just a place I wouldn't wish even on Barcelona. It was just that bad. But that's the thing, right? The feeling out of the game. I didn't want to kind of I don't want to feel that way, honestly. But MCFC edits, 1-1. Foden better than Rodrigo. MCFC edits, I hope we get City again, and then you get the treatment of what it is to play perennial winners, right?
I don't understand what they've done to be number one in the UEFA rankings year after year. Even this published rankings, they're number one again.
Just the accumulative points, I think. over the years.
Yeah,
They have
that's very
just
true.
won more games. But we sometimes lose games and then went on to lift
Right, yeah,
lift the Champions
that's
League,
there.
which is
I think
all
it's
that
similar to
matters.
how Belgium were number one in the FIFA rankings for a long time.
100%. I mean, City. Let's give them some credit. They're better than Belgium, but I get
Yeah,
what you mean.
absolutely, they are
Yeah,
similar
but
thing.
it's funny, right? Like the obsession with some of the City fans. I respect Big Steve. You respect the Mancunian way. Such great lads.
Yeah, the
So
few Man City fans there are.
yeah, it's so fun to work with. Like Steve is like the godfather of the sport, right? But the amount of salt that like that came our way, especially after last season. Oh, is this the way Royal Madrid was supposed to play? Will your ancestors be happy with this performance? I mean,
Oh yeah, hell yes, we would
we,
be.
we would be. We won the Champions League for the 15th time, right? 2 in 3 years. I mean, come on, 6 in 10 years. Wouldn't Man City take it? Right?
100%
Um,
anytime. And Guardiola himself would have taken it. Because
100%.
these days he's turned into like a success monster himself. Anyways, Man
100%.
City hopefully later in the season or once the Champions League draw comes
Maybe the
out.
group stages. Who knows, right?
Yeah, who knows?
There's a slight
Absolutely.
probability we might face super early, each other super early. Ifti Mohammadi was mentioning drop Rodrigo switch back to a diamond. Use Gullar as a part of that diamond formation.
Too
What
soon.
would you? What too soon? Yeah.
Soon to have that conversation. Yeah, simply too soon. It's just been one game. Let's not overreact.
So you're telling me, right? You would be okay with the 4-3-3 next weekend as well,
I would.
and
Yeah.
it's gonna work, Sahil, because it's Valladolid at home. The 4-3-3 is gonna work, and we might win 3 or 4-0. Like
Yep.
I'm not gonna touch wood, fingers crossed, right? I'm not gonna jinx it, but it's gonna be pretty
It will work.
smooth sailing. But
I would.
but the next big away game, I think, is against Atleti at the
Already?
Metropolitano. Yeah, I think it's super early, September. If I'm not mistaken, okay, just bear with me, boys. My memory sucks, but I know for a fact that we play Atleti next month. So, my question is: will the 4-3-3, looking at it from from mid-August, would you think that the 4-3-3 will make us go far, especially against Atleti away?
It's difficult to judge now, but I would say yes, because again, ideally you would want to judge on the basis of what goes on between now and then.
Mhm.
And if things do go well, then obviously you don't change with the 4-3-3, and if you're not doing, you go back to the diamond. That's simple as. But
This was the
stick with
conversation
it.
many people
I'll
were
stick with
having coming into the season as well, Sahil. So
And I
many
think
guys were.
Ancelotti too will stick with it. He's not really a guy who changes approach multiple times in the season, especially not this early in the season. He might experiment, but I don't.
Yeah.
I think he's got a set plan.
My
He'll
biggest fear,
beyond that.
100%. 100%. My biggest fear, you know what, Sahil, that so many guys were mentioning, the addition of Mbappe would force us to go into a 4-3-3, which I, kind of were super open to, because, that would kind of take me back, to the BBC, and, how free flowing we were, and, how we should dominate oppositions offensively. They would mention that going to the 4-3-3 would take away our balance and would make us a lot more vulnerable, and kind of easy to predict and whatnot. Like, I'm just hoping that my worst fears, that those guys being proven true, shouldn't happen. Right? That's my thought process.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah. I guess that's pretty much it. I think, Sahil. Any final thoughts? Final takeaways before Valladolid?
Not much really. Pretty terrible result. It feels like a loss, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for Valladolid, I feel like the team's going to be pumped up, especially because it's a home game,
Yeah.
first of the season. And like you mentioned, I would hope that we bashed them 4 or 5 goals up.
This team needs a performance like that, right? At this moment in time,
Yes,
it needs some
and
sort of a
a
statement.
boost, yeah, a boost would help. And I don't think Ancelotti is changing all, despite again, it feels like a defeat.
Mm,
So it's just going to be a matter of the players that didn't turn up today turning
yeah.
up next week against Valladolid.
Mm. I hope that's the case. I just echo the same sentiment. Carlo might not change his system, might not change the way he's going to approach the game, especially at home. He would want, and the players would want to put on a show to kind of get over this disappointment. Let's be honest, this is a disappointment. The record at Mallorca isn't great over the last few years, but this is a different scenario, different side with a lot more firepower in its tank. It should be doing a lot better. Um, People are going to come up with excuses. People are going to throw away stuff like the post Cruz era. I get all that, man. We just need to win. I don't want it to look pretty. I don't want us to play the most flamboyant football. I'm not Farouk, not a purist. I just want my team to win. If we defend for 90 minutes and win against City, yes, like I would be pissed, but I would be super grateful that we managed to see out the job. Right now, we have some catching up to do. Mo had mentioned in the chat earlier on, nobody wins the league with 114 points, but to start off, we had 2 points off Barcelona right away, and they did it with a much weakened squad away at Mestalla, which is let's be honest, let's face it, they're not the Valencia of old, but the Mestalla away is a much more daunting task than Mallorca away, and we failed. Whether
Yep.
it's psychological, whether it's a team trying to find its feet again, whether it whether it's a team still in holiday mode, which I hope it isn't the case, right? Because the highs were that high last season. I hope they can uh, drink some lemonade and kind of get it off. But yeah, people, pick up every single one of you in the chat. If you're new here, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. Um, Tell a friend to tell a friend. That's the drill, boys. You guys can find us on all major audio platforms: Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Um, it's super humbling when our listeners on audio, they send in valuable feedback. They tell us, we accompany them on morning jogs, night drives, you name it. So we never basically expected so much love from our listener base throughout the years. But you guys are super nice to us, super understanding as well when some technical issues kind of ruin the experience, or when you guys kind of disagree with some of our more aloof takes. But I have to thank every single one of you for basically standing by us and supporting us through thick and thin. Also wants to thank Manscaped. They have been supporting fan football movements for the large part of the last 3-4 years. Uh, big up, big up to Manscaped. LBI20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Pioneers in men's
LBR 20.
grooming. LBI20. There you go. Sahil
Yeah.
has mentioned the code for the first time. Big up Sahil. Thanks for backing me up on that. They have a whole catalog of products ranging from beard trimmers, hair trimmers, beard waxes, loungewear, you name it. Probably Manscaped has it. Go check them out. LBR20 to get 20% off. We started off kind of in Jan, and they are sticking around for this season as well. So show some love to Manscaped. Show some love to Let's Be Real. But yeah, people, until next time, catch Farouk and Jacob on the preview for Valladolid. Hopefully, I think it should be Friday. The boys have told me, compared to the usual Thursday slot. I think they're going to do it on Friday, same time. But hopefully, we are back for the next post match with a bit better outlook on life and football in general. Until next time, people.
100%, yeah.
100%. Until next time. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.